Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Who's Your Band podcast. I am joined, as always, by my co-host, Sean Morton. How are you, Sean?
I'm good, beautiful. How are you?
I'm good. Hey, listen, I got the chance to perform with Sean this past weekend, and Sean, man, you were great. You really were
I
great.
know. I was fucking amazing. Let me just tell you, it was one of those nights.
You were the first comic up, and it was that show could have gone either way, and you really broke it open. That was tremendous.
I know. Usually I was the first comic because normally I'm the headliner, but sometimes you got to eat crow a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, you're a very humble guy, so.
Yeah, but it was a great crowd.
Yeah, they were.
It was a great crowd. It was fun. As Chrissy's adjusting her underwear, that's hysterical.
I have a thong. It's up my asshole.
Well, we don't. Yeah. They don't know who the guest is yet. Okay.
Oh,
yeah, don't give it away.
So with that, let's introduce our guest for today. We have a comedian, host of the Wet Spot podcast, Wet Spot show on Compound Media, Chrissie Mayr.
Hi.
And from Extreme Comedy and the Beer Man Beer podcast, Mr. Johnny Benson. How are you guys?
What's happening?
Hey.
Hey. So let's go with let's start with Chrissie today. Chrissie,
You're gonna make fun of my band. I know it.
I'm not gonna make. Well, I hate your band, but we'll get into that. You have no idea how much I hate your band. But before we make fun of your band, what I do want to talk about is how fucking funny your impressions are. Holy shit.
Oh, wow. Thanks.
I saw you do Michelle Wolf at, I think it was at the Knitting Factory.
Yeah. That was like 2 years ago now.
Oh, but that was spot on, but even better. I mean, that was great, but even better. Funniest thing I saw in a long time, the Greta Thunberg impression.
Oh my God, that little shit. Yeah, somebody had to do it. Thank you.
That was sure. Did you see that?
Oh God, yeah, it was great.
That is so funny. So my question to you: have you always been into acting, or do you have plans for future acting endeavors?
I came from an improv background, which I spent like 5 years doing that and thousands of dollars. The UCB and the Magnet Theater, both in New York City.
I did improv at the Magnet too.
Well, yeah, I like the Magnet better because they're not all like dick suckers, and they actually like teach you more like acting skills, whereas UCB is like uber clicky, very one specific kind of improv, whereas like if that's not your thing and if you're not like carbon copy of your teacher, then like you're not going to progress, you're not going to get plucked out for SNL, blah blah blah. But yeah, I learned a lot from it and a lot of transferable skills. It teaches you to be good on your feet, to be flexible like mentally, and kind of like work well with others, and it gets you into your body, like in your physicality a little bit more, and it helps you. I think it gives you a good foundation for things like impressions and voices and character work.
When you first started, is that what you wanted to do? Did you want to go into sketch, or did you want to go into stand-up?
No, never wanted to go into stand-up. I started improv, I think in the back of my mind, like I probably never had the confidence to say I wanted to be on SNL, but I feel like I would have been over the moon if I was heading that way. And I was real intimidated by stand-up comics. I remember when I was an intern at Conan, Late Night with Conan O'Brien, back when he was still in the city, Liz Mealy was in my intern class, and she had already been doing stand-up like since she was 16. So like she'd been doing it for like a year or two already. And I was just like blown away by that. And we kind of kept in touch over the years. And after I finished all those years of improv, I did a one-woman show, which kind of felt more like acting. And then after that, I realized like, okay, I could try stand-up. It seems less scary now. And I knew Liz, and I would go and just like see some stand-up here and there. And I'd be like, okay, well, I can at least be like shitty, because I would see not the best stand-up. So it made it a little less intimidating.
How about you guys? Have you guys ever done, Johnny, Sean, have you guys ever done any improv?
Yeah, I started out that way too.
Really? Where'd you go?
New Haven, Connecticut at New England Academy of Theater. And I hated it. I wanted to get into stand-up so bad, so I went that route. And I had fun for a while, but just that passing the energy, all that bullshit, it's just It got old.
You don't like Zip Zap Zop?
No.
I never did improv. The second I went on stage doing stand up, I knew it was magic and it was amazing and I was fantastic. So I just figured, why would I screw around with perfection? I should just keep doing that.
Yeah.
I think improv appeals a lot more to younger kids and like kids right out of college because they don't really know who they are yet. And while they may have some strengths and be like theatric and like improv is full of theater nerds, like where stand up it's like a more varied group of people. There's like parents, there's people with other jobs. It's like there's more varied personalities. Whereas improv, you're gonna have theater kids and like the one guy that's trying to improve his public speaking for work. But it's mostly like ass kissing theater kids. So I think that's why it appeals to a younger group. Whereas like when you know who you are and you're like a grown ass man or woman, it's like then I think stand up does appeal to you more.
Yeah. And I was doing it in the 90s, and every time you ask, "Oh, I need an object," someone yells out, "A dildo." That kind of just got old, you know.
I don't know. I did it because I wanted to get more comfortable on stage, and Nate Bargatze actually suggested taking an improv class, and I did it at the Magnet. I really liked it, and it got you more into the moment and get that side of your brain thinking where you're able to be quicker. And I thought it really helped a lot with your crowd work as well. And just like, sometimes it's like being able to see things in a different way. So I kind of liked improv.
Sometimes I miss it. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I wanted to ask you, Chrissy, you you've had an interesting summer.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think was the most interesting about you this summer was the little bit of heat that you wound up getting with the Chrissy Teigen tweets.
Woo,
right?
Got a lot of backlash from Chrissy Teigen and her followers. Yeah.
Well, fuck her. I thought that first question I want to ask you about that is, what made you go into Chrissy Teigen's account, for tweets, and notice that she had like deleted like some over 28,000 tweets? Like, how did that whole thing, like, walk us through what happened? Yes.
I think it's like started a little bit. Okay, so like back in March is when I was sort of like red pilled, so to speak, and like it's when you connect the dots on the media being super liberal and lying to everybody, and you learn about the deep state, and you learn about the entertainment industry in Hollywood, and how it's all, connecting the dots on a lot of things about how the world really works. And so that was in March, and then, which is the beginning of like the quarantine, the lockdown. And so now I'm left with nothing but time and nothing but internet. And I'm researching all these things. I'm watching like Fall the Cabal, Out of Shadows, like all these documentaries, learning about fucking pedophile rings and stuff. And then people were mentioning like, oh, Chrissy Teigen had some of these like sketchy tweets. Like some people had screenshots, like where she was commenting on toddlers and tiaras from years back. And these were like in the early years of Twitter. Twitter started in 2007. These tweets of hers were between like 2009 and 2013.
And wasn't it like an insane amount of tweets too? Something like 60,000?
It was. So this is how I discovered it. So we use this site called Social Blade to see if people have bought followers, to see follower trends, up, down, whatever. And for some reason we looked up Chrissy Teigen, and she had a big red number in the media column, and it said like negative almost 30,000. And I was like, holy shit. Like any of us, when we come through our feeds to delete shit that's bad or racist or whatever, it's like no one's ever deleting that many tweets. So that was really suspect. That was a big red flag. So I threw out this tweet like, some celebrities have been really busy since Ghislaine Maxwell was arrested. Chrissy Teigen, why did you delete 30,000 tweets? And then just went about my day, started recording another podcast. And then at the end of the podcast, Frank was like, she wrote back to you. And I was like, what? I was like, what is Chrissy Teigen doing? Like, why would she respond to like little old unverified me? Like when you're verified, supposedly all your messages, there's a thing you can click to only see like, right, the special people messages, the verified messages. So it's like, what is she doing digging around in the dumpster, to look at my message? And so she wrote back to actually correct me that it was 60,000 tweets that she had deleted. And she's like, you guys think you're detectives just because you see some tweets from years ago. I'm worried about my family. You guys are crazy. And then as soon as I did that, whoosh, everybody came in with all of their tweets of hers they had saved over the years, like creepy shit, like not just stuff that you would read and you go, all right, like, why would you joke about this? Even a comedian wouldn't. You'd either make it way funny, like obviously a joke, or you just wouldn't talk about it, because it's like,
Right.
sure, you can joke about anything, but like these were just straight up kind of icky tweets, like, oh, I'm gonna, God, it's like I like seeing how like these girls, like their bodies are like little and tight, and I'm gonna Anthony Weiner this kid, and oh, now there's a boy on the show, some eye candy for me. And then Pizzagate stuff came out a couple years ago, like with the whole like pedophilia terminology and how certain words correlate to different, like little boy, little girl. It's like pizza, hot dog, cheese, walnut, you know, map means semen or whatever, which was a code that came out with like the WikiLeaks. I guess law enforcement knew, but like most people became aware of this code with the WikiLeaks. So, and then some of these tweets included, oh, I woke up with pizza on my chest. I love pizza. Brad Pitt just handed me pizza. So it kind of was like a wink and a nod to this.
What is pizza
culture thing? What? Pizzagate?
Yeah.
You don't know what Pizzagate is?
No. Do you guys know?
God.
No idea.
Seriously? Wow. Oh my God. I mean, that's a whole nother podcast in and of itself. And Pizzagate is basically, so have you guys heard of like Hillary Clinton having like 33,000 emails that she deleted? She used a private server.
Yes.
So among the emails that were deleted were pretty questionable emails in which it was obvious that she was talking in code, like between her, Obama, Podesta. Like one such email was, you know, we're going to order $65,000 worth of hot dogs to the White House for like whatever it is, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Are we going to use the usual channels? So it's like you read that email and you're like, well, it's obvious they're not talking about hot dogs, and because who's going to order $65,000 worth of hot dogs? Do you know what I mean? And the response to the email was, oh, no, we shouldn't talk about this here. You know, this isn't the right space for it. So it's obvious it's talking in code. And then this sort of pedophile code came out, and it links the White House and all the political elite with this international child trafficking ring, basically. And then so many celebrities are involved. Ellen, Oprah, Tom Hanks. Like,
this is like the Born Identity.
It's a lot. It's really a lot. And yeah, there's theories that say, you know, the real reason why Ellen's show isn't coming back is because she's involved in all this. You know, it's not because of her producers, you know, are sexually harassing people. Like, that's the excuse that they agreed on, because the real reason is she's going to be tried for crimes against humanity or whatever. And then it gets into like Hillary Clinton is really involved in this stuff too. There's supposedly a video called Frazzle Drip where she cuts off a girl's face and fucking wears it on her face as part of like a satanic ritual in the woods. Her assistant Huma Abedin was involved with that. Huma was, I think, married to Anthony Weiner, and we all know what the kind of stuff that was on his laptop. So it's all connected. And once you start picking up one crumb of it, you like go to the next one and the next one until soon it's like everything's kind of coming together. And this was like basically my whole summer was like realizing like the truth about all this. And so when you see Chrissy Teigen tweeting like, oh, Brad Pitt just gave me pizza, I woke up with pizza on my chest. And then you know that a lot of these, you know, political elites and celebrities go to these, I guess it's part of satanic culture, I guess, but it's called like the spirit cooking, either classes or events or whatever. And then there's this lady, Marina Abramovic, who's, you know, she kind of runs these spirit cooking things. And it's basically essentially like glamorizing cannibalism. And then that is kind of linked. It's like literally a whole web of shit, you know? And that's why, so it's not just pedophilia that's going on, it's cannibalism. And then it came out, this was over quarantine, that Planned Parenthood, like legitimately guilty of selling baby parts, like, you know, on the market, like didn't deny it at all, but it was very much underplayed by the media. So
that's a surprise.
So that links into like Planned Parenthood, abortion. Why do they put more Planned Parenthoods in certain areas than others? It's like it could go on and on and on, connecting all these dots, right? So people would see these tweets of hers that, you know, folks were reposting and bringing up after years and going, oh shit, this is kind of sketchy, the way she's talking about these kids. It's more than just being a fan of toddlers and tiaras. Like, this is a little bit much, you know. It's like almost like you'd read these tweets and go, I wouldn't want this woman like babysitting my kids. So, and also what it's also very telling, like, why would you delete 60,000 tweets? To me, that's like, you're making a huge overcorrection. She had a team or a bot or whatever. It's just, she said, okay, we're just going to delete, since all these people have these receipts, let's just go ahead and delete anything that has pizza, toddler, little girl, little boy.
First of all,
you know.
the fact that she had the time to make 60,000 tweets and then delete them, that had to be jarring. Now, this whole thing, I mean, I remember when you posted the original post, and then within a few hours, this thing went viral and national.
Yeah, because like that Pizzagate has kind of been in the conversation for a good 2 years now. More than that.
This really brought it to the forefront.
Yeah, because Chrissy Teigen is the self-proclaimed mayor of Twitter, and the 60,000 tweets she deleted, that was only a third of her total tweets. So she's constantly tweeting. She's also the queen of canceling. She loves to cancel people, other companies. She came out really hard against Goya. So the fact that this came back to like bite her in the ass is like a kind of karma, you know? So that whole story is like, so she complained to Twitter. She was like, I might have to leave Twitter if Twitter doesn't do something about this actually scary harassment I'm getting. Apparently she's getting so harassed by all these Q people, which Q people are not violent. They're just like seeking the truth. They just want to lift the veil, you know, and see what's really going on in the world.
She's afraid of being exposed.
She's afraid of being exposed. She obviously is trying to cover some shit up to delete that many tweets. Everybody came out with receipts and icky stuff that she'd written over the years. And then she sort of famously blocked 1 million people in her attempt to, you know, stop having people, I guess, message her or tweet at her. And then she had her PR people put that out in all like the magazines and all the online news sources, like, oh, Chrissy Teigen's afraid for her family. She, you know, it was this big, everyone, you know, oh, it's QAnon, it's their fault. So Twitter comes out so hard against QAnon, like the next day or two, deleted thousands of accounts associated with like conspiracy theorist people, you know, QAnon people. A friend of mine, Tommy G's account was deleted. He had 250,000 followers. It's like they'll be so quick on that. Like they will lick her ass because she's a celebrity, but they will let literal child porn like be on Twitter, like no big deal at all. Like they're slow as fuck to take down child porn accounts. And this happened also, like, you know, maybe last month or so. I was like reporting this one account. I was like, guys got to report this account. There's literal child porn on here. And you'd like open it. You'd be like, holy shit. I used to think you had to go to like the deep dark web to see this shit. And here it is. It's in all of our pockets. It's on Twitter. And it took Twitter like 4 hours to even acknowledge that I had sent a report of this account. And I was like, wow, Twitter, like it took you 4 hours. Like, thank God you guys aren't EMTs. So finally, they end up deleting that account. And then it's all the while this is happening, people are sending me more and more accounts because people are on the lookout too. And they kind of send things my way thinking that I, you know, can help take it down. So in the process, I too was suspended for child porn. And I'm like, you guys, I can't believe that Twitter is not smart enough to discern between the people who are like creating and distributing this shit and then the people who are trying to bring it down and fight against it.
All of social media has been exposed as being sketchy.
Oh, for sure. And Project Veritas did this big expose on Facebook where it showed that their content moderators were specifically deleting posts of conservatives and anything that had to do with pro-Trump and like gladly doing it happily. Like, these guys are scum, you know, huge political bias.
They also did that great expose on CNN where they caught one I forgot who the guy in CNN was, but saying that they're only gonna talk Trump. You know, from now until the election, that's all they're doing. It's all Trump 24/7.
It's crazy, and our media has encouraged the riots, like straight up, like telling people to punch people in the face. Like they're absolutely not neutral. Like they're definitely not condemning it. They're totally saying it's going to keep going. Kamala, everybody's like pro.
They went back even further than that, Chrissy, because they gave a voice and credibility to Maxine Waters. And
oh God,
she was like one of the first ones to start this bullshit. And remember, they harassed who's the original press secretary? Huckabee, Sarah Huckabee. Remember that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I didn't really know that Chrissy Teigen, like I I know it's been, people have seen her name on flight logs. There's a flight log that I've seen her name, her and John Ledger's on. The flight logs are the flight logs of Jeffrey Epstein's island.
Right.
They'd take his plane, the Lolita Express, to Little St. James or Little St. Jeffrey. That was his like island where he would have like legit have 12-year-old girls flown in from France, like straight up, like Prince Andrew was seen there, would frequent the island. Bill Clinton himself went 26 times to this island, like for real implicated, straight up like actual pedophiles, like there's no, at this point, it would be really hard to disprove it. Yet Clinton still gets to speak at the DNC and no one seems to be making a huge fuss of it. But I think they're trying to just keep Ghislaine alive.
Because people are cattle.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. And they'll follow whatever the media tells them.
Everyone gets their opinions from either memes or periphery headline reading. Nobody really like reads in depth anymore. Because we just simply don't have the patience for it. But we also have another guest with us. We have Johnny Benson. Hey, Johnny.
What's happening?
What kind of craft beer do you like?
All of it, man.
Change the subject.
All of it.
Because Johnny has a podcast about beer, and we had Florentine on last week, and we're all kind of in agreement how much we hate craft beer and anything with fruit in it.
When we started the podcast, we were like anti-IPA, and then all of a sudden we tasted so many different kinds, and then we got into it. We started getting hooked on all the different beers, but I don't know. We really like a brewery in Brewster, New York called Bull and Barrel. I don't know if that's close to you guys or not, but man, we were there Saturday, and it was a blast, man. They make now they have fruit and beer, but it's not. It's drinkable, They do a blue honey.
What kind of fruit is in that beer?
There's a blueberry honey beer, and they do a coconut cream ale that tastes like drinking.
What the fuck? Come on, John.
It's like drinking dessert, man. It's so good. I don't know. And
That's not what beer should be.
Pounds.
It's not what beer should be.
Now if I drink a Bud Light, it's like drinking a Poland Spring water. It just
right.
Nothing hits me. I need an IPA to punch me in the face so I could.
So we only have Chrissie not for a very long time. So let's talk. Let's switch the direction.
No, I'm good. I moved my other thing.
Okay, cool.
I'm good till 5. Yeah.
But let's talk a little bit of music before we go back to your life there, Chrissie, because you have a lot of other interesting stuff going on too. But your band is. Would you like to tell people who your band is?
Okay, fine. And I knew you guys were going to judge it. So this was like really like wasn't my favorite band for many years, and it reminds me of like a time in my life where I don't know, I was like just moved out of my parents' house. I was like really independent, and then they fucking broke up. And I also love this band because I met them all. They were like from Brooklyn. I was living in Brooklyn at the time. The name of the band is called Pearl and the Beard, and they're all extremely, extremely talented. There's 3 of them. They all sing. One plays like professional, incredible cello. Jeremy plays the guitar, and Jocelyn McKenzie plays the drums, also keyboard, also sings. And they're like 3 of the most individually super talented people that came together. And like I saw them play, and I've also I've changed so much over the last few years. Like I discovered them at like a Planned Parenthood fundraiser or whatever. Like they, because I was like super liberal a few years ago. Just fell in love with their sound right away, and just bought all their albums. And then they broke up like 5 years ago, and it was like so heartbreaking. Like I was at this concert, and then they announced like, this is our last concert, we're breaking up. And I was like, what the fuck? And right at that time, like their latest album just came out, so it was like bittersweet. And it's weird, it's like I don't listen to them all the time, but when a song of theirs like comes on, I'm just like I go back to that place and that time in my life. I just think they're super talented. I'm really sad they broke up. I feel like they could have gotten a lot bigger.
See, how long do we know each other? We know each other a few years, right?
Being really patient on this one.
Yeah. We know each other a long time, right, Chrissie?
I think so.
Couple of years. I mean, like going back to like the Stonewall Inn when you were hosting those shows there, and it's been really like, I'm one of those guys who likes to build up other comics. I'm not like the trasher, like, oh, she got this show, he got this show, fuck her, fuck him. I'm not that kind of person. I have legit loved seeing all the success that you've gotten. as far as like your podcast, that's a great podcast, the Chrissie Mayr podcast, and the Wet
Thank
Spot
you.
show
You've
is
done it.
fantastic.
You've
I've done both. We've done shows together. I'm good friends with your boyfriend. He's an amazing dude.
I feel like
and
you're about to.
And I just say to myself, like, there's gotta be something. There's got to be something wrong with this
Wow,
woman.
I knew it. I knew this was coming. I could have sent any other fucking mainstream band, but I took a risk and I gave you a piece of my heart and I gave you.
I wish you would have taken fucking Janis Joplin.
Listen, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. We had Jared Freed on, and I had never heard of St. Paul and the Broken Bones. So I'm like, okay, so
they were great.
So I listened to them, and they were phenomenal. Now I have all their music. I made it through 30 seconds.
What? That's
song,
not enough.
What song did you listen to?
Whatever the first one came up on iTunes.
Was
it Prodigal Daughter?
I could have sent you top songs.
That could have been it.
See, Prodigal Daughter was the only one. I made it through a little more than that. It was the only one that I kind of like, okay, I can stick around for this a little bit.
Was the song.
Oh, we'll get into that in a second. Okay, Sweetness, fucking
that
awful.
One sounds like screaming in the middle, but there's a lot of other really good songs.
There's one that particularly, but at least Prodigal Daughter reminded me of the Indigo Girls. It wasn't that awful. The one that I tapped out after this. I couldn't take Vessel. Vessel was 3 people, one playing a stand-up bass, a recorder, and an acoustic guitar. It was the most hipster shit I've ever heard in my life. It was like this should be the bed music, the theme music of every show on NPR radio. Okay.
Did you hear Hot Volcano? Did you hear Devil Heads Down?
Yeah, Sweetness is like, man, we're going to play a concert, but we're going to do it in a soup kitchen, okay? And it's only going to be in Williamsburg. That is what...
Yeah, that is definitely their vibe.
This band was.
They did a lot of songs on the subway, too.
What confused me was when we talked a couple months ago about having you on, you were like, yeah, I want to talk about Radiohead. So I'm like, all right, we can do Radiohead, but, not my favorite band, but I appreciate what they've done for the music
industry. I thought everyone would have picked them.
No,
nobody
one picked
Radiohead. You and Jeff Lawrence are the only ones I would have ever picked Radiohead.
God.
So I was like, all right, you know what? I know about 7 or 8 songs of them. I'll go deep. I know there's some great records like, OK Computer and the Bends and stuff like that. I'll download them. I'll listen to them.
I love those.
And then you pulled this shit on me.
I just wanted to give you something unique, something you hadn't heard of before. Again, this very much spoke to the hipster time in my life, like the Williamsburg dwelling, glasses wearing.
Congratulations! We're on episode 29, and this is the first time we've ever bashed our guest.
Wow!
I've never heard of this band.
Well,
don't
listen to the Beast album. It came out in 2015. God damn it.
Oh, that was the year that they broke up.
They broke up, and then this album came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they break up because they realized that they're fucking atrocious, or is it?
They're not atrocious. They were. I don't know. There'd be their concerts would be packed.
Where did you see them? Where did they play?
Crying. Oh God. I think Rockwood Music Hall.
They didn't play at a Loft, man.
Some of the bigger.
The Loft.
They have played at a Loft.
IPA beers.
God, no. I mean, of course, there were IPA beers at their concerts.
Yeah, man.
They had good merch. Man, I can't remember some of the bigger.
What did it sell? Pipes?
T-shirts.
Pipes?
Tote bags, records,
monocles,
actual records. No.
Oh,
you actually got me to laugh. First time in 29 episodes.
They're so hipster.
They are so hipster, but they're very talented.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Chrissy. I like certain bands like that. Like I love The Head and the Heart.
Never heard of them.
Oh, because they're actually a good band.
Oh wow.
So I like that kind of stuff too. But I don't know.
Well, you know what, Sean? You don't hang out at the Creek in the Cave. Everyone at the Creek in the Cave likes Pearl and the Beard.
Boy.
Listen, there's one good thing about comedy kind of being at a standstill right now is the fact that, I could have potentially worked with Chrissy. There would have been a chance that me and her would have carpooled down to a show, and that there was a chance that this may have come on the radio. So thank God comedy's dead.
Not the radio. I would have put it on my Spotify. I would have made it come on.
There's no way. There's no station playing this music.
Here they are. If you guys just need a visual, here they are all wearing the same sweater.
Does anyone have bleach for my eyes right now?
Guys.
Because I can't unsee that.
Well, it just goes to show that when you see somebody and you're friends with them and you think, wow, they really have their shit together, and they're a great comic and a great radio host.
Look at that. 21,000 listeners a month.
Yeah, so do we. What does that say?
I'm sure they're all Trump supporters.
Sean, you got a Bert and Ernie sweater like that or what?
Oh, dude, let me tell you, I actually might go out and buy a sweater like that. I really might, and then I'm gonna get one of those pink pussy hats to put on top of it too.
Yeah.
Wait, should I play a little bit of a song for the people?
You know what? We'll all be quiet for 30 seconds.
Yeah, pick something that we haven't spoke about yet. One of the songs. Pick your favorite.
Well, here's the thing: is that it's Spotify, so it's gonna be random because I don't have Spotify Premium.
Excuses already
because of the budget. So let's try this. Oh, right, YouTube. Oh no, this is not the one I want.
Boy, that was off to a great start.
Oh God, I don't know if this is what I want. This sounds very hipstery. That's a bad example. Oh, this one's a little bit like downbeat. God damn it!
You're not helping yourself.
Yeah, you are not making a case here. This. Come on, find your song. What's like the
my song?
What would be,
I really like
the big encore song that they would do?
I like Hot
what's
Volcano.
That Stairway to Heaven?
Oh, good question. Yeah. Hot Volcano is good.
Yeah, play Hot Volcano.
Okay, God, let me pull up on my.
Yeah, let's hear some.
Is that originally called Hot Garbage and they just changed it?
And then we're gonna
Hot Volcano. No, it has sexual undertones.
Hold on, I got it right here. Hold on.
You have Hot Volcano, Sean?
Yeah, hold on.
And then we'll get into
down to the old volcano. Tie me up, scoop me out all hollow. Oh, you're bad. Hold me down.
Gotta give it time.
Make a rope stick.
Wait.
You know what I think of when I hear that song? I think of like a girl trying to do burlesque and she has hairy armpits.
Oh my God, that's literally what everybody looks like who listens to the band. I was about that life. I mean, I did burlesque. I did burlesque once.
But that wasn't that bad, that song.
Thank you.
That one, it wasn't that. Come on, Sean. Out of all the other stuff that they've played, that one isn't too bad. I'm not putting it on my playlist, but it wasn't that terrible.
Doesn't it sound like we playing at a bar where there's sand on the ground?
Sounds like where they should be putting glass on the ground.
It sounds like the soundtrack to every bad like 2008 indie film.
Well, actually, you know what? Like, I just found this out today because I was checking the Instagram accounts of the former band members, and like, so here's where I'm probably gonna lose. Like, I'm sure I've lost a lot of respect already from the listeners, but here is where I'm gonna go ahead and say like the respect nail in the coffin, so to speak. So they have a song called. Hold on, no, because I have to show you the post because Emily.
Johnny, do you like the music so far?
That's not bad. I don't know if I've heard the worst though, you know?
So I found out. So they have a song called Douglas, and I'm looking at the Instagram account.
I heard Douglas.
It was a certain someone used their song for their fucking outro for their Netflix special. As soon as I saw this, I was like,
there you go. There you go. All right, Chrissie, it's very nice seeing you.
This is the musical equivalent of Hannah Gatsby. It broke my heart.
Exactly. You just summed it up perfectly. That should be the soundtrack.
Like
this band is the soundtrack of Hannah Gatsby.
I'm really sorry.
While Johnny's band is one of the soundtracks of my youth.
Great band. Better band than I thought they were going to be. Johnny, you want to tell us who your band was?
Yeah, I picked this band because I was thinking of the two bands I've seen the most in concert. One of them was Korn that I didn't pick. The other one is Huey Lewis and the News.
So random, dude. Holy shit. Corn and then Huey Lewis in the News. You can't get on more opposite ends of the spectrum. So why Huey Lewis in the News?
Because I'm an 80s MTV kid growing up. My mom would have it on MTV on all the time, and we grew up on whatever was played there, Phil Collins, Cyndi Lauper, and all that. And Huey was 80s cool, man. He was a rock star. That Bobcat Goldthwait had the joke that when you see Huey Lewis in the mall, you don't say, "Hey, is that the #1 rock star in America?" You say, "No, that's a friend of my dad's." But he had that cool. He had that the T-shirt underneath the blazer, sunglasses halfway down. Always had hot chicks with him. He was cool, man. And then Back to the Future was a big help.
It was a big help. But when you talk about the 80s, man, you have to include Huey Lewis in the News because they have two of the biggest albums of all times in the 80s. Sports, which is they had already gotten big before that with Picture This. It had 2 hits on it. Working for a Living.
Do you believe in love?
Yep. But then all of a sudden, Sports comes out.
And I Want a New Drug. Come on, Ray Parker Jr. tried to steal the jam and do Ghostbusters.
That's right.
He was like, hell no, calling the lawyer.
Yeah, the Heart of Rock and Roll, Heart and Soul. If This Is It, I mean, it's big, and then he's touring like crazy. He's on everything. He does, like you said, Back to the Future, Power of Love, and Back in Time became big hits, and then follows it up in '86 with Four, which had probably my favorite song by them.
Jacob's Ladder.
The Bruce Hornsby inspired song, man. That's a great. How'd you know that?
It's my favorite too.
That's a great song. And I also like Stuck With You. I think it's a very sweet song.
Another one of my favorites from sports is the song you did about the Vietnam vets. Why can't I think of the name? Walking on a Thin Line.
Oh, that's a good song. Yeah, that's a very good song. Yeah.
Chrissie, were you born in the 80s?
No, Chris's tuned out.
No, I was born. I was trying to be respectful. I was born in the 80s.
Okay. Chris, are you a big fan of Huey or what?
I've heard of them.
Jesus Christ.
That's the problem, man.
Making me feel old.
You know what it was? Because they played like Madison Square Garden in the 80s. They didn't play, the fucking Knitting Factory in Brooklyn in the basement.
Yeah, they played the Knitting Factory.
No. Pearl and the Beard doesn't play the Knitting Factory. That's way too popular.
They for sure did.
Oh, did they? Okay,
yeah.
And then they sold out because they would usually they'd play like a sewer, okay, and it would only be like a 3 a.m. show, and then you have to have like a code, and you would have to wear like a cane and like a pike hat.
All right, you're stretching it, Jeff. You're definitely stretching.
Sean, you know that
every cliche.
Huey was known for having comedians open up.
Yeah, I didn't know
an opening band. Yeah,
I've never seen. Where did you see him, and what comics did you see open from?
I don't remember the name of the first time I saw the comedian open up for him, but it was 1985. I was 1 row away from the ceiling in the New Haven Coliseum.
Wow.
And he had a guy with a guitar that was a comedian. And then the next time I seen him at Wallingford at the Oakdale, Billy Wynn was the opener.
Oh, okay. I know Billy.
Billy Wynn, yep. And,
very cool.
Then in the 2000 area, when bands started to Voltron together, I saw them with Chicago a couple of times.
That's a good double bill.
Double bill. So
half of it's good.
You don't like Chicago, huh?
No.
So much horns in one show. Huh?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That's great. That's a great. I love that. You don't know what he's talking about. That's a great double bill. I can't believe that Huey Lewis is 70 years old now.
Yeah, he's also known. Rumor, he's got the Milton Berle rumor.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Really?
He, one of the longest schlongs in rock and roll. He's playing with a Tommy Lee drumstick. Couldn't even get Chrissie awake on that one. Come on.
I'm awake.
And then everyone forgets he was part of We Are the World.
Yeah. Also turned down Live Aid because he thought the money wasn't going in the right spot. A gangster move there. That was a total rock star move.
Yeah, when you look at him, like he doesn't look like a rock star. He never looked. He never appeared young. He never. But he just was, like you said, he was just like cool. The music was really good, and I had forgotten about some of these songs. So when you saw him in concert, he probably had like a great set list where it was like one hit right after the other.
Every show they bust into some acapella, get all the bands off the instruments, and they come down and sing an acapella song, maybe 2 or 3.
Were they wearing matching sweaters when they did that?
No, but they should.
One sweater.
Just one sweater.
Was there ever a time when the audience didn't applaud and they just snapped their fingers? Was that a thing?
No. I mean, most Huey crowds are pretty much they're into the show. Even then, the last show I went, I think maybe 4 years ago, he's probably 70 years old, and
How did he sound?
He sounded amazing. The band was great, but I was in the 4th row, and the whole first 6 rows were all like could have been handicap seats because it was all 60s and up, you know.
So you see him a bunch of times.
Guy there.
That's
great. Sean and I are big fans of covers. Have you ever heard him? Did you do any covers when you saw him? 'Cause I never seen him live.
He does like the old school. He has a whole album of. I think I wrote that down somewhere. I was taking notes. He does a whole album of like kind of like
doo-wop. I
think
he has a doo-wop album out.
Yeah. So you know those. I can't sing, so I can't think of the names of the songs, but a lot of that 50s, 60s stuff, you know, he does. Nothing really stands out. But
hey guys, quick question for the two of you: what's the worst? You know, and it could come from one of the bands we talked about. But what's the worst song lyric you ever heard?
Oh, geez.
Take a guess on this, Sean. What or opinion?
The worst song lyric ever?
Yeah.
I can tell you the best song lyric I just heard, like the other day I was running and I've been like, it's weird. I like came down a little bit hard on Cardi B's WAP, like the latest one, like the wet ass pussy song. Cause I'm like, I feel like the lyrics are pornographic, but I was listening to like Cardi B more and more, like on my run the other day. And there was this lyric where she said like, oh God, it made me laugh so hard. It was like, my pussy's so good that I yell out my own name in bed. I was like, that's fucking great.
That is pretty good.
That sounds like
I was like, I actually really like that. It's like
I found that to watch Cardi B, it's so much better if you just put it on mute the second that you catch her on television.
It's good to listen to her and not remember that she's like a mother. I don't know. I mean, like, I sound judgy, but like,
or like the fucking census commercial in New York.
We don't need to see her interviewing Joe Biden. It's like, just like,
oh my God, how insane was that interview? First of all, and how unauthentic was that interview?
I actually didn't watch the whole thing, but it's like it's so superficial. Like they're just doing it to like try to like sop up some of the voters that just know and love Cardi B, and that's it. Like they're just trying to get. It was a sad, desperate move.
I keep thinking like to like the old days of like Walter Cronkite, you know what I mean, or Dan Rather, who were like really respected, like, you know, news people. And like now I'm hearing like the potential next president of the United States being interviewed by a girl who sings about her ass getting eaten.
Yeah,
it's just not right.
If you go down the Cardi B wormhole, which I did this week.
Oh God, I'll fucking.
Well, I had to watch, the WAP video, and I watched a couple things. And there's a video of her. She's talking about how she was wiping her ass, and because of her fingernails, she cut her ass.
Yeah, her nails are like she has such long, crazy nails, and I'm like, that's all fun and good until you have to take the contact lens out, and then you're like, fucking stab yourself in the eye. Yeah, and also there's so much bacteria that's collecting under there all the time. It's just like everything, even like dead skin off your just regular body. Talk about, and then you're like butt and puss and all that stuff.
I do like on the social media now. I think she was a guest on your show, Chrissy. Did you have Tina Forte on?
Yes, I love Tina.
She's. Do you know who she is, guys?
No.
She's like, she went viral a couple months ago because of her rants. Like she just started ranting. She loves Trump.
Yes.
Hates De Blasio, hates Cuomo, hates Pelosi, and she just like doesn't mince words. She's like Trump 2020, motherfucker. And but she's so funny and relatable and like, very Bronx, very New York, but also like, people love her, relate to her. She's, disarming.
Yeah, I think that's the one Terry McNeely fell in love with. He's reposting all her stuff too.
She's cute.
She's very cute. She's 50. She's in great shape. She's beautiful, but she's tiny.
50?
She's like 5'2" or 5'3".
Wait, she's 50?
Yeah, she looks
Oh, she
fucking
don't
amazing.
look 50 at all.
She got invited to like the latest Trump boat party thing. So she's like, she's getting to meet people. She's doing it. And she and myself are going to be part of the Compound Media election coverage in a couple months. So I know that's like coming together.
Cool.
Yeah.
It should be interesting.
She's a blast. She's the best.
Now that you work for the great Anthony Cumia's network, what in your humble opinion, is it a landslide win for Donald Trump this year?
God, I think so, but I'm just worried about like the fake votes that are going to come in, or like the mail-in ballots that can be like really easily falsified, and like the fact that you can vote multiple times because of it. But it doesn't seem Trump is like super overly worried about it, like when he speaks. So the more I talk to people, they're like, all right, well, just take your cues from him. If he's not over, I mean, he's also like a lot smarter than people give him credit for, and I think
I agree.
He's just making a lot of moves, and maybe not necessarily talking about everything. So gosh, I don't know. Yeah, I'm a little concerned.
The first debate,
I heard that there are 7 models that they've predicted the last like 12 elections, and they've got them all right, and all 7 models are predicting that he's going to get reelected.
Oh, wow. I mean, but then you have Hillary saying that under no circumstances should Biden concede the election.
Why?
Why? I don't know. She's just,
what's the
it
basis
makes you
of
think
that?
something nefarious is up. It makes you think that they're
With
like
Hillary?
plotting something.
Of course.
Yeah,
But
she's gross.
The first debate is coming up at the end of this month.
Yeah.
I just hope that it's going to be live and not like via Zoom, that they're in the same place, because there's plenty of ways to socially distance that, because I want to see how lucid this guy is and if he can think on his feet. And I think the debates, more than the conventions, will sway the election and the swing states.
Yeah, I've heard people say it's a possibility that like he will come down with COVID right before the debate, and that will get him out. I was just
going to say that. My friend sent that to me today.
Whoa.
That Biden's going to mysteriously come down with COVID on September 25th.
That's fucking whack. Wow.
That would be pretty transparent, though.
You think?
I think people will see through that. I think what do you guys think about is this you keep hearing about this silent majority. How big do you think that is?
I think it's big.
About 7 inches. I think it's about 7 inches. Yeah. 7.5.
And of course we had to bring it back to sex a little bit. Chrissie, you interview a lot of these porn stars, right?
Yeah, they're good people. My podcast, it's a good mixture of like, libertarians, porn stars, conspiracy theory people. We just had Alejandro Rojas on, who's a big UFO guy, talking about everything that came out recently, and like the latest Senate intelligence report, and like the news that's coming out now, like, oh, like all these, ships not made on this earth and all that shit, and just talking about aliens and stuff and possibilities there. So try to cover like a wide selection of people. But yeah, like some of the biggest, I guess, porn stars I've had on my podcast, like Nikki Delano is pretty big, Jaden Cole, Alex Cole is coming out Friday.
I did one of your shows with I think she's pretty popular. Do you remember which one it was? It was the one we were doing we were talking about the countdown. It was the contest, almost like the March Madness thing.
Oh gosh, yeah, I don't.
She had blonde hair. She was pretty smart.
Randy James?
No.
I don't know. Chrissie booked me with a transgender porn star, and I was annoyed because her dick is bigger than mine.
Ow. Just I didn't want to judge. I don't want to judge your sexuality or make a guess. I just sort of put things out there.
Yeah, and I had my hand on Mikey Figs' ass that day, so that was the highlight of my life.
Well, you got something there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I think this was an interesting episode.
Sorry, my band let everybody down.
No, your band made the show.
I'm gonna check that band out, man. I'm checking that band out.
Now that I go back and listen to them, like I don't like them as much as I used to, but I loved them.
since 4 o'clock.
I was in a different place, you know.
I get that. There's certain bands that
it's like an old boyfriend. It's like, oh
yeah, I completely get that. There's bands that you have guilty pleasures with and that you love and that remind you of a certain time and you know things that were going on in your life, whether it was a boyfriend or whatever like that. But normally those bands are good. And
wow. Now I find myself liking one, you know what I mean, like Spotify mixes and saving I like this song. So like the mix of songs I really like, it's like rarely are they more than one song by the same band. Like I really love David Guetta. I really love Sia. Like where I'll listen to like multiple songs by them,
Sure.
but usually it's just like one off.
I just listened to Titanium by the two of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It hypes you up.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. You don't like that, Sean? That's a great song. What do you
as every week goes by, I hate you more and more.
I like Titanium. It's a great song. I have spent hours listening to different versions of that song.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. I don't have much of a
I'm
life
doing
there.
comedy, but whatever.
Oh.
Anyway.
Where are you doing comedy?
This Saturday in Thompson, Connecticut. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, listen, we got to get back on the road soon, and it's happening. Places are opening up. I'm just found out this week that another club that I performed at is now open. So, I'm sure they're going to have 14,000 comics bombarding their emails, like with the veils and stuff like that. But look, Chrissie's doing a great job with the podcast and her radio show, and Johnny's back in the groove. He puts on great shows in Connecticut. They're a lot of fun. They're always sold out. So we're finally hitting the upswing, I think.
I agree with you. Before we leave, that's a question I want to ask the two of you. What do you guys think about the industry now? Is it coming back? What do you see that's on the horizon?
Let's see. Maybe less weird by spring. I think people are just gonna keep being weird. It's gonna be like very weird through the election, and then people who are worried and brainwashed about the virus, there's at this point nothing's going to help those people because it's been months of like being scared and being fed scary shit from the media, so it's going to be hard to like snap those people out of it. I think the middle is getting bigger of people who are learning more and realizing this is a pandemic and that it's bullshit and overblown and 99% survivable, and I think those people are the middle is getting bigger, right? It's like the silent majority. It's kind of putting together everything. And then there's like this small group of people who just, I guess, I don't know, like never give a shit about anything. But I feel like that's a small group. But in terms of like, and then that's the thing, it's tricky because like the business owners are really just, at the mercy of whoever's running their state. And it seems if it's run more by like Democratic people, it's going to be held out longer and longer, and shit's going to be locked down for longer, and they're more likely to lose their business. So it's really sad. Like, you could want to open, you could do everything right. But like I was talking to Noam from the Comedy Cellar, the Vegas location, he thinks is probably going to have to close down, which is really fucking sad. And he's like, I just want to keep New York open. I bought all this like plexiglass and shit, and we can't even open. Like we're doing what we can, but there's always something new. There's always a new rule, and then people are trying to shit on the outdoor shows. So it's like
there was another rally today over at Governor's.
Oh wow, that's good.
And Anthony Cumia was speaking.
Wow. Cool.
What do you think, Johnny?
Things are getting a little better out here. Some of the comedy clubs are open. The Stress Factory opened up. There's been comedy going on at Mohegan Sun. And, the shows I do, we're doing a little outside stuff until we could get everybody back inside. But I'm hopeful things will get back to normal, and hopefully comedy will make a big comeback, and I'll get to quit working for DoorDash on the side.
Yay.
All right. Where can people find you guys? Let's we'll go with Chrissy and then John.
Yeah, find me everything, all social media at Chrissie Mayr, ChrissieMayr. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Parler is a really great new app that you should get on if you're not already. It's like Twitter, but actually free speech, and no censorship and no bullshit. So it'll be exciting to see the growth with that app. TikTok, but fuck TikTok. And then check out the Wet Spot on Compound Media every Monday at 7:30. The Chrissie Mayr podcast on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, SoundCloud, and then I do a Never Have I Ever like group Zoom show that comes out Saturday nights on YouTube.
Awesome. And how about you, Johnny?
I'll be dropping off a double Whopper with cheese at the Cortland Marriott in Orange, Connecticut in about 10 minutes. But other than that, check out Beer Man Beer Podcast. We talk comedy, concerts, and beer. A lot of, not so much comedy or concerts lately because nothing's been going on, but a whole lot of beer. We've had some big stars like Sean Morton and a lady.
How'd you get him?
Won, it was tough. But we also had a lady who won a bunch of money on Press Your Luck. But other than that, it's just stand-up comics and drunks.
That sounds cool. And Sean, parting words?
I used to love Chrissie.
Oh, wow.
Really? The band turned you off that much to Chrissie?
Nah, she's a dear friend, and like I said, we all have our faults. You know.
Chrissie, I'm gonna try your band out. I'm gonna put some.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
All right, be careful though.
Listen, we really appreciate the two of you coming on and giving us your time. We do.
Oh, great time.
Thank you
This
very
is
much.
fun.
Appreciate it.
All right, guys, we will be back next week with another exciting episode. And with that, stay safe and subscribe, follow us, please. Keep our numbers up. Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Later.
Take care.